U.S. Iran ceasefire is under pressure this morning as American forces launch retaliatory strikes near the Strait of Hormuz.
And President Trump is now warning that the U.S. may have to finish what they started if Iran continues to strike.
Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. The United States conducted another round of airstrikes against Iran overnight after the IRGC targeted shipping vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. According to U.S. Central Command, a variety of different targets were hit, including Iranian military surveillance infrastructure, communication systems, air defense sites, drone storage facilities, and mine layer capabilities. The president posted a Truth Social shortly after the strikes, saying United States aircraft just struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites for violating the ceasefire agreement again. It is very possible that they will never learn. The president goes on to say there may come a point when we are no longer able to be reasonable and will be forced to militarily complete the job that we very successfully started. If that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. In response, Iran launched missiles and drones toward Kuwait and Bahrain. This was the second exchange of fire this weekend between the United States and Iran. Vice President Vance posted to X over the weekend saying Iran signed a ceasefire agreement. We have honored it. If they have disagreements about how the MOU is being applied, they can pick up the phone, but violence will be met with violence. The new military action comes as the situation between Israel and Hezbollah plays out as a separate but parallel issue. The Israelis launched new strikes against Hezbollah this weekend as Hezbollah continued attacks against Israeli forces in southern Lebanon. Late last week, there was a diplomatic breakthrough in Washington as the Israelis and Lebanese signed a framework agreement aimed at normalizing ties between the two countries and disarming Hezbollah.
These were intense talks, difficult talks, but we arrived at an agreement, the framework agreement, which will allow for the achievement of a full peace agreement between our two countries.
While the situation in Lebanon is stabilizing slightly, there are questions about if the technical talks between the United States and Iran will move forward this weekend as scheduled due to the fact that the Iranians are still testing this fragile ceasefire agreement. Guys?
So, Trey, you mentioned and you laid out perfectly what's happened over the weekend. In two separate cases, Iran, who has perceived the MOU as to being violated, the ceasefire, that they are striking Kuwait, Bahrain, but yet this seems to me that this week we are going to climb up the escalation ladder when you have Vice President Vance saying violence will be met with violence. How do you see this week playing out?
Yeah, it's possible. Look, this memorandum of understanding is a very simple agreement. It's about a page and a half, and it very clearly states the Strait of Hormuz has to be open. And the president has indicated there will be no tolling of the strait, and they can't be launching drones and missiles toward vessels that are trying to pass through. But the Iranians continue to do just that. They have targeted these vessels with a variety of attack drones, and these one-way attack drones can cause significant damage to these vessels that are often carrying sometimes 2 million barrels of crude oil through this critical waterway. And there are still thousands of sailors that are stranded in the Persian Gulf. And so these strikes overnight are meant to send a message to the Iranian regime that if you continue to try to destabilize the region and test this agreement, that ultimately this is going to be met with the force of the U.S. military. And that is why you saw those extensive U.S. strikes overnight. And both President Trump and Vice President Vance have indicated that if the Iranians do not choose the diplomatic track, that the military option remains on the table.
So, Trey, Iran's Arab neighbors applauded the memo of understanding. What do they make of this latest skirmish and the U.S. Launching retaliatory strikes against Iran?
It's a bit ironic because you had in the past 24 hours the Iranian foreign minister traveling to Baghdad to meet with his counterpart and the president there in Iraq. And during his remarks, he said that the Iranians are still interested in creating a Gulf coalition. But as he was making those remarks, these Gulf countries were shooting down incoming Iranian fire. And the damage that we saw was caused to residential buildings. And it's an indication that while the Iranians continue to say one thing, their actions don't match their statements. And that's exactly why the administration is watching closely what is happening in the Strait of Hormuz. But again, these Gulf countries are on the front line of this conflict. The president told me previously he was most surprised by the fact that these mostly neutral countries came under direct Iranian assault during Operation Epic Fury, despite the fact that they weren't involved in the conflict. And that's exactly what we are seeing today, the Iranians lashing out against these neighbors that they claim they want peace with but in reality, they are launching missiles and drones toward residential populations.
Yeah, it seems like maybe these Gulf countries are realizing they're going to have to find some sort of arrangement or peace with Iran because they are the targets when things go wrong. So great to have you here and with that report on the latest that's going on in the Middle East. Thank you so much, Trey.
Thanks, Trey.
All right.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.